back off the bench. What do you think is the single biggest thing that he can help you guys improve upon?
Single? That's a tough question because he's obviously got many facets to his game. But if you pressed me for a single thing, it was just his presence on the field. His on-field presence is good in it. Defending areas of the field, phases of the game, and it's also attacking-wise. He started a couple attacks from his front to back, so just his mere presence on the field was good.
You see more confidence out of the other guys? Does he free other guys up? How did you see him impact the rest of his teammates?
Good players always make players around them better. I think Ozzy has always made people around him better. Early on in his years, just his defensive output was such that he could let the attacking guys do what they needed to do. But he's also, come full circle in his game, and his passing, his completion percentages, those are all very high as well.
What about his communication with players? When he comes back on defense and slots in there, can you talk about how he communicates with the players and sets up that defense?
They all do in shapes or forms. They're pointing, they're using verbal communication. They're all doing that, but Ozzy's certainly one that knows how he thinks a game should be played, so he's very vocal.
Alex Roldan got his first start. What was it about his body of work that pointed to you that it was time to put him in the starting 11?
Well, he's been training well all throughout preseason. I told you guys this before, and maybe a little bit after the game. I hate comparing him to Christian. He's his own player, but he does have some of the same characteristics that I like. He's determined. He's got a little bite to his game. What I would say is that again, I'm comparing the two, but Alex had that shot from top of the box. It was very close. I think Alex has a lot of nice attacking movements in his game. Christian, you'd always think, okay, is he a number 6 or an 8? And he does some of the dirty work that goes unseen, but then he scores that goal, right, to outdo his brother, right? So it's good to have them both on the field, and Alex has a good future if he keeps his head down and keeps playing.
You grew up with brothers. Do you see any kind of similar sibling rivalry stuff on the pitch, or do the two of them seem to get along and compete pretty well?
You'd have to ask Alex and Christian how many days in the backyard they went after each other. It's the same with my brothers, but it was 2 against 1, so I was always outnumbered.
How did that film study go, going back to that Kansas City game, and maybe some of the good things that you did, some of the things that need a lot of improving?
Tom Childs does a great job. You see him out here. He's got the drone up in the air, filming all the trainings. He does a good job. We have the entire staff work on the pregame scouting of our opponents. Jimmy, Preki, Tom, we all put our input in, and we come together as a group to make final decisions on tactics and how we want to play. So having that little bit of break, that long break, allowed us to be prepared for that game. When you have 3 games in a week, that's when you're kind of, you got to be really organized, do some of the work prior to maybe your opponent's last game. But, they did a good job preparing the tactics for that game.
Brian, getting back to Christian, has his ability to see the offensive third improved and continues to improve? I get the defensive part and the passing.
I think he's always had it. I think what you see out of Christian is he's such an unselfish player, in the sense that he always wants the team to do well. That, could he have a few more goals or assists? Could he go forward more? Sure. But, then there's those holes that he always covers for Nico, for Clint, for all of the attacking guys, for Victor when, last year. He does all those little things that make the team go outside of scoring goals and creating assists. So when we moved him up into that number 10 spot, you got a sense of what he is capable of doing, playing out of that position.
So would you say that he's starting to see and take those opportunities more now?
No, he's always took them. You guys, the stats guys, would know more, but he scored some pretty important goals for us last year.
Magnus started on the bench for you guys. Was that an injury concern or just a coach's decision?
No, that was coach's decision, just the way we want to set the team up. And there was no injury with Nuhu either. Those were just decisions that we made.
With Magnus, given you guys need a little bit more creativity, it seems like, what does he have to do differently in order to break into that starting rotation more consistently for you guys?
he was in consideration. He's always in consideration for that starting spot. Just away from home against that team, I elected to go a little bit more, guys that could do the work a little bit more. So that was my decision.